Hello, this is Pastor Trent, and I just wanted to share a couple of announcements with you. This is Tuesday. I know it's not the midweek yet, but I want to go ahead and share these announcements with you, just some things to remind you of. This is Tuesday. It is the last day of March. This month has flown by, even though we've been in quarantine half the month, social distancing and all that, but it has went by fast. I want to share a couple of things. One is I mentioned on the video this past weekend, whenever we did the video with the happy birthday for Addie, that her birthday is Saturday. And so if you want to send a message to her on Facebook, you can do that through Brian or Chrissy's Facebook page. Or if you want to send a card, feel free to send her a card. If you have a card, you don't have to go out and shop for one. If you have one already, you can mail that. If you want to make one, that's what I was thinking too. If you just wanted to make a card, and just you could be creative and just get that in the mail. Their address is in the church directory, so if you don't have that, please text me or let me know, call me, and we will make sure we get the address to you. The second thing I would say today is that things are constantly changing right now. I've been listening to our district leaders, our district superintendent and assistant district superintendent, Jerry and Todd. I've been listening to the local, the state, and the national officials with a lot of guidance. There's a lot of guidance out there right now. Yesterday, I was on a Skype meeting with a group of pastors for the district. Today, I was on a Skype meeting with a group of pastors, and Jerry and Todd were leading those both. But just between one day and the next day, things had already changed. As churches, as we talked about Easter, as we talked about drive-in church, as we talked about different options, things had changed from one day to the next. And so here's what I'm saying. I don't know what's going to happen. I know we won't be able to meet as a church with all this going on. It just seems to be getting worse, and we're not at the apex yet of the virus spread. That's supposed to come in about 2 weeks, even here in our area. So I don't know what's going to happen because it is changing day by day, and we're not quite there yet to the high point of all this. But I'll give you an example. Yesterday we were discussing on the call communion. I ordered some pre-filled communion cups with the wafer in the top, and maybe I was kind of thinking about getting those out to you next week so that you could take communion as a group watching the video. Even since then, the insurance information that's come out from insurance companies has kind of changed things there because of sterilization and concern. Their insurance companies are, our coverage does not cover a pandemic. We're getting memos, emails, all kinds of guidance from different groups. So it's crazy, but I'm not sure what we're going to do for Easter. There was some talk yesterday with a number of churches, and I kind of brought up this idea as a possibility with them, and there's going to be a lot of churches across the United States that are going to go with this. The option is to the first week that you're back for church, celebrate being back and the emotion of being back. And that may be different churches, it may be different dates for different churches. We just don't know yet. But let that first Sunday back be a day of celebration. The second Sunday begin and make that Palm Sunday. And the reason I'm saying all this is because Easter changes every year anyway, because of the full moon and the Passover and all the things that go in. Each year it's a different date. So if we're changing Easter around, maybe change the date of Easter that churches celebrate Easter. The second Sunday that you come back, celebrate Palm Sunday, and then the Good Friday and the weekend, and then the third Sunday after you've started coming back to church, let that be Easter Sunday. Now, I'm not saying that's what we're going with. I'm just saying that those are some things. There's a lot of creative ideas out there that people are doing. Each week, things look a little bit different. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'll be honest with you. Look, we celebrate as Christians. We celebrate Easter every day. Every Lord's Day that's the reason it was moved. The Sabbath from Saturday was changed to the Lord's Day, was but to celebrate the resurrection. And so we do celebrate the resurrection in our lives, not just on Easter Sunday. So I can't tell you what we're going to do right now. I do know those communion cups are on the way somewhere between here and Washington State, because I found a box. It was one of the last boxes that was available. Todd Henson and I are splitting that box up between our two churches. But I have no clue if that box will even be here before Easter. So if we decide not to do those, just remember, here's something to keep in mind. That if we celebrate communion by video, you may have to find your own elements. Now, we talked about this with the district this morning. Pastors were raising the questions because you can't find communion elements right now. The stores are sometimes dangerous for our seniors to be in. Here's something to think about. If I decide to do a communion online, here's what I would tell you. It's not so much the elements, the bread, the juice, as it is the ritual and what it means to you, the significance and the remembrance of what Christ did for us on the cross. And so when we celebrate that, if I have to ask you to use saltine crackers or a Ritz cracker, or break that up, those are some options. And maybe Sprite or 7-Up or something as an element. If you have juice, that would be good. I'm sure there'll be some more discussions next week when the pastors do a Skype call again. But all I'm saying is we have to be very creative this Easter. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to put anything in stone, because what we were thinking last week has already changed this week. What we were thinking yesterday has already changed today. So we just don't know. The good news is I do know that Christ is still God's still on the throne. He's still the Lord of everything. He knows our situations. He's there for us. So you don't need to fret. We don't need to worry. It's going to be okay. I promise you that. Just we want to stay safe and stay healthy. So that's just a little bit of a message from me midweek, just to be thinking about, because this Easter's much different than anything we've ever imagined in our lifetimes. Even when the church went through the Depression, even when the church went through the different wars, the church went through different times, they were always still able to meet together. This is just something totally different. So a little later today, I'm going to be posting a video. I'm going to be reading from a book that I hope will mean something to you. It's got a good message behind it, and I'll say more about that on the other video. But anyway, we love you. We miss you. Oh, you don't know how quiet this church is. I mean, it is just unreal not having anybody in here in the last couple of weeks. It's just unreal. And by the way, if things go as planned, it won't be so quiet tomorrow, because there's going to be the activity putting the roofs on the fellowship hall and on the sanctuary. The materials are supposed to be delivered later today. They're going to be set out in the parking lot. So this is a perfect time for us to get these roofs put on the church with all this going on. But thank you for joining me. And again, watch for a video later today with a devotional. I may still do one. If you remember last last Wednesday I shared some. By the way, everything's backwards in this video, and so I don't. This is weird. Normally I can flip pictures, rotate the pictures, but last week I just shared some scriptures, and it was kind of unscripted, just my thoughts on some of my favorite scriptures. I may do that same thing tomorrow. This other video devotional won't have anything quite like that, but I hope you have a great day. We love you. Juanette and I miss you, and you stay safe and stay healthy. God bless you.